What's up, y'all? Welcome to this episode of Initial. If you haven't watched Initial yet, this is basically where I give my initial reaction to a movie I just saw in the theaters. Thor, Love and Thunder. Here's the pre-watch cam.
I'm not the craziest fan of Marvel movies, but they're pretty fun. With budgets over 100 million, you could only surmise the type of shit they'd put into these films. Usually it's a nice surprise. I thought really the only Marvel film that was kind of bad was Eternals. Too much star power, and the story itself was just lacking, and the writing was awful. Something was off about it. It was eternally bad. Your life isn't gonna change when you watch one of these movies, but for sure, for a couple hours, you could be distracted, I like this AMC in Jersey Gardens. It's a bit of a drive away, but not too big of a deal. I'll go for a drive to go somewhere that I, really enjoy and like. Thor isn't my favorite Marvel character. I'm not actually sure. That's a lie. I think Chris Pratt's character is my favorite, just because there's humanness to him, I would have said Iron Man, which is maybe almost everyone else's answer, or Captain America. But Captain America is just a white savior dude. Oh wait, Chris Pratt is too. But something about Captain America just falls flat for me, It's just a military soldier. There's just a two-dimensional aspect to his character. I don't really know too much about him. Nor do I care to know, by the way. Nor do I want to know. I want to keep it as it is. But yeah, something about Chris Pratt's character, which I can't even remember the name. Oh, Star-Lord. Something about Star-Lord is just funny because he's smart, clever, just a bit more human, more than the other characters are. Doctor Strange is cool, but Doctor Strange is kind of a cunt. Immediate post thoughts before the studio. Pretty good, pretty fun movie, yo. You could definitely feel Taika Waititi's style in it. It's pretty fucking goofy, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, yo.
What a wonderful film, filled with magic and wonder. And magic and wonder. Fun movie. I think Taika Waititi had a huge part in that with his real big talent on combining humorous moments with serious moments. While watching this movie, I kind of remembered the more serious tone of the early Marvel films like Iron Man and even the first Thor. Now I feel like they're completely leaning into that campiness vibe more so than ever, with Thor resembling Michael Scott from The Office. I feel like Thor is that friend that you first meet and he comes off really cool and chill, and then maybe you spend way too much time with them and you realize that they're actually really silly and goofy. Or at least that's the direction that Marvel's taken this character. There's so much to take in when you first watch these movies. I like how Gorr, the God Butcher, was introduced, the main villain in this story, how he was just traveling through this barren desert. Whatever he was, his world was dying, and so is his daughter. At some point, he meets his demise after his daughter, and he meets his God. And I like the angle here, what if you meet your God and he's the biggest douchebag in the world? His God was very indifferent to his presence and the loss of his daughter, even though Gorr basically worshipped him. This didn't really settle well with Gorr, so much so that he denounced his God. Gorr got a bit gory. Obviously that God did not take to that too well, and he picked up Gorr by the neck and started choking him. I really like how this visual effect worked out. It's just this huge godlike human-esque creature, but larger than life. So his God didn't take to that too well, and he was just about to kill him. But then this fallen enemy that the God took out before Gorr arrived to the scene had a sword. The sword is cursed. It actually started calling to Gorr, and Gorr was able to take that sword and got to stabbing. Gorr stabs the God's neck and it just spews out gold or whatever it was, and he successfully kills his God with this sword, being a sword that can kill gods. Now Gorr has taken it upon himself with this cursed sort of mindset to eliminate all gods. And I could kind of understand that. Imagine meeting your guy and he's like, hey, get the fuck out of here. And you're just left kind of palms in the air. I was worshiping you my whole life and you're just gonna banish me? You're gonna just toss me away like a dog? Stab in your neck. This is how the movie begins, and this is how it leads to Thor. Thor has been hanging out, kicking ass with the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was cool to see Star-Lord and the gang again in a different perspective. They're all really a bunch of misfits, especially Thor's weird loving ass. Thor went through a bit of a crisis. You know, he's not doing too great with love, and love kind of really hits him and takes a toll on him. He gained a lot of weight, but then he kind of got back to his hero mentality by finding some sort of, I don't know, I guess happiness with saving people again. A true hero. Even though at moments Thor seems to come off as a guy that has really low IQ, there's a lot of really cool moments in the film that showcases more inspiring, energetic aspects, like when he gives those kids towards the end of the film his powers a little bit so that they can fight alongside him. So essentially Thor is dragged into battling Gorr as Gorr keeps killing gods. Gorr is not a chill dude right now. He's literally just slaying people left and right, even gods that are great and nice. Finally, we land with Thor, with Gorr attacking Asgard and kidnapping children. You know, being a kidnapper is never a forgivable thing. It's never an okay thing unless you're in America and you're a higher up, like government official or politician or someone rich, well off. You know, kidnapping children is never really a cool thing. So Thor needs to get into action to save these children. Thor is joined by his ex, played by Natalie Portman, and I really like that dynamic of the two of them together. There were some really great serious moments here, but a lot of jokes, and I feel like there was really an imbalance here of like playful and serious tones. Like you didn't really know what to feel, because the more serious moments are kind of knocked down by some playfulness from Thor, or just like some silly dialogue. Still, it was a really entertaining, visually stimulating watch. There's an act in the film where Thor starts looking at other gods for help. A god like Zeus, which was a cool, unexpected thing for him to like go into this realm where these other gods kind of exist and talk to one another. I just didn't expect Zeus to kind of show up in this movie, played by Russell Crowe, which was a great cameo. I think that was like a perfect role for him. And it's funny how Thor realized like somebody that he looked up to is a douchebag too, right? Like gods tend to be maybe the things that we don't expect them to be. There are a lot of funny cameos in this movie. And I think that's one aspect that kind of takes me a bit out of the more like Marvel Cinematic Universe and more, it just creates this playfulness, this playful Thor vibe that wasn't present in the beginnings of Marvel, but I guess this is the direction they're going, and I did really enjoy that kind of coyness there, that playfulness that Thor had, the goofiness, the silliness. Some people might not like that because they're more attached to a more serious tone character. I just like comedy. I'm a big fan of comedy, so if like movies intertwine that with along with their like more serious moments, I could kind of dig that. I could enjoy that. Christian Bale playing the villain in the Marvel universe really actually surprised me. It was kind of nuts. It left me wondering, like, how much did they pay this man? I mean, it's not unusual for him to be in a film like this since he played the Batman with Christopher Nolan, but that character really had a lot more depth, and Christopher Nolan is an entirely different director, and how he handled that series is very different from how other hero movies were handled at the time. He's a phenomenal actor, and that's what I think made this villain so much more convincing and scary. One aspect of Marvel films I do enjoy is that they kind of humanize villains. Gorr is a bad guy because he's killing these gods, but at the same time, that murder, that chaos is all rooted in pain. I heard that there were scenes left out involving Gorr, and I kind of like was saddened about that. I would have liked to see a lot more from Gorr the character. Since Christian Bale is such a great actor, you would want to see this character be fleshed out a little more. I am kind of tired of like a villain coming up in one film and just getting slayed by the end. Like, why not just kind of prolong this battle, make it a little more dramatic? It makes it really seem like, you know, these Marvel characters can just save the day so easily. So there's no real tension that you need to feel there in these movies. It's just like a let's enjoy the ride kind of vibe. You know, like things will pan out well. Natalie Portman's character was cool too because her character Jane was fighting cancer. And she was kind of trying to run away from it by fighting alongside Thor, fighting these monsters, taking the hammer, you know, since everything human failed, human studies failed, nothing could really cure her. So it's like she kind of went towards the magic route, you know, she knows Thor, why not grab the hammer? Why not kind of fly around a bit, smash some monsters' heads? But at the same time, this hammer is draining her human energy to fight the cancer, which I like that aspect of it because it's not just like a end-all thing here with the hammer. If you grab it, you're like immortal. Actually, no, you're taking your human energy. There's a human toll to using this power. And it kind of was a bittersweet thing seeing her fight towards the end of the film because you know she's sacrificing really her life to help save the gods and help save the world. These guys are always just saving the world, huh? There's always like a world thing. Can't it just be like maybe they're saving like a restaurant or like they're saving like one guy maybe, like one really important person? It's always gotta be like a big world aspect. Anyway, I think how that character handled her situation, you know, is like really human. Like anybody would have done that, I think, you know, instead of chemo and eating chips, let's fly around space, let's fight some monsters together. Give me Thor's hammer any day over cancer. Over anything, really. I mean, come on. I enjoyed the jokes, I enjoyed the action, the visual effects were really great. I don't have any problem with it. The screaming llamas, like, that was a funny joke, and I thought it was really funny when they transitioned scenes, like, they would feature that screaming llama sound, that screaming thing, as like the transition sound. I feel like the editors or like the director, Taika, was like laughing in those moments as he like maybe put those in, because obviously it's not necessary to do that, but you know, you want to like just run this joke, I guess, throughout the whole film. But this is really like the silliest Thor movie I've ever seen. Like, the word silly just keeps coming up because it really is that. They could have just called this Thor Silly and Thunder, or Thor Love and Silly, or Silly Love and Thunder. Just like, this guy is silly, bro. He's a silly guy, having a silly good time. Oh, I need to be loved. I need people to feel my love. I am a hero. I never know the right thing to say. And it's kind of like, oh man, is this like really how they want this character to come off like in the future MCU universe? Thor here really is more a bit of a comedian than a hero. And you know what? I don't really mind that. I thought this was a really enjoyable watch. I was laughing my ass off and still enjoyed all the action and intense moments. I would recommend seeing this in theaters big time. I mean, I would say this was a very watchable movie. If you like this, I would love to hear what you thought of the film. Did you see it yet? What do you think about it? Did you like it? Do you think it's like just as good as Thor Ragnarok? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe to the channel, as it helps us a lot and it helps make more of these videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day till next time.